Good to be back with you once again on the India development debate. We're putting the spotlight now on Battleground Gujarat. The Times NOW-VMR poll has given the BJP a stiff lead as far as Gujarat is concerned. But can the equations change with Rahul Gandhi, Hardik Patel, Alpesh and Jignesh all coming together? Can that rainbow coalition really yield results, or is BJP firmly in the driver's seat yet again?
Joining us on the show to debate Battleground Gujarat, Neerja Chaudhary, political commentator and columnist, Narendra Taneja, spokesperson of the BJP, and Sanjay Jha, national spokesperson of the Congress. Neerja Chaudhary, you know, there have been a couple of final opinion polls, they've been called, that's come through, and we're going to put the spotlight on the Times Now one. And while it's giving the BJP a clear lead at over 110 seats, what's evident is that the margin of lead has clearly come down considerably over the last couple of polls. Even this very poll done a few months back gave a far stronger lead to the BJP. Is it fair to say that the Congress, that this is not a cakewalk as many thought it would be for the BJP in Gujarat?
I think that can be said with a certainty, that it is not a cakewalk for the BJP, number one. Number two, the polls capture, they tend to overstate the support for the ruling party and understate the support for the opposition. Number three, there is a widespread desire for change in Gujarat today. In certain communities, there's also visible anger. But what is stemming this is the personality of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, whose stock has not gone down as has the stock of the BJP. So there's a contradiction here, but it is the Prime Minister who's trying to damage control, to make a pitch for, as a good son of the soil of Gujarat, as somebody who will take care of their needs at the center, somebody who's done good vikas and so on. So he's appealing to the people. How much will this Gujarati asmita, Gujarati pride actually kick in at the last moment? That remains to be seen. And there are obviously a large number of fence sitters this time in Gujarat. So the next few days, of course, in the first round of polling, things are almost over. Tomorrow the campaigning ends. But the next days are going to be very, very critical, because people are angry with or unhappy with BJP. They're not enamored with the Congress. They're looking at a phenomenon like Hardik Patel, Jignesh, Alpesh as new energies on the rise in Gujarat. But will that get converted into votes for the Congress? All these are imponderables that we need to wait for.
I like how you put it. They're unhappy with the BJP, but they're not enamored by the Congress there. But Sanjay Jha, let me throw this to you. Ever since BJP started winning Gujarat, which was way back in 1995, 22 years back, it has always had a roughly 9 percentage point vote share lead over the Congress. In the last Lok Sabha elections, BJP boasted of a over 60% vote share. I would say that's a citadel that's going to be very difficult to break.
Right. Supriya, let me tell you, I think what we have witnessed, and I'm giving you ground reports from our Congress workers in Gujarat, there has been a remarkable and almost an extraordinary shift in momentum over the last 6 to 7 weeks. I mean, the coming, of course, together of, both, all three, Alpesh Thakur, Hardik Patel and Jignesh Mevani, has added tremendous energy to the entire campaign led by the Congress party. Now, what you're going to see, and I can tell you I've been part of many opinion poll discussions held over the last 5 to 6 days, all of them tell you that the gap has narrowed considerably, and our belief is that as we move progressively towards the voting day, both the 9th of December and the 14th of December, there will be a massive upsurge of voting for the Congress-led the entire force that is with the Congress party. I think that trend is the reason why you find that there is no mention of the word Vikas or development of the Gujarat model by the BJP, and the BJP is playing this traditional role of communal mobilization of votes. You heard the statement of Mr. Arun Jaitley openly canvassing for what I call as Hindutva votes. So, I mean, this is a party that is now into religious polarization. It is the gambit it always plays as an act of political desperation. But I think the people of India and people of Gujarat have seen through it. There is anger in Gujarat. The people want change. I think Neerja put it brilliantly. But let me add one point. The people are happy and angry with the BJP. They want an alternative, and they have it in the Congress, backed by three very, very energetic and popular leaders.
Narendra Taneja, comment on that. Sanjay Jha is saying that the momentum is now with the Congress, and there almost seems to be some sort of a panic reaction by the BJP camp. The BJP has sort of prided itself in setting the development agenda, talking about development, jobs, etc. But off late, over the last couple of weeks, the narrative has shifted. Now, I don't know who's provoked whom, but the narrative definitely seems to have shifted considerably. What do you ascribe that to?
First of all, very interesting, Mr. Sanjay Jha talked about the 3 caste leaders, but not about his own leader, because his leader is irrelevant. He knows it. So, it's good that he's admitting it. The question is that nobody knows Gujarat better than BJP.
That's what I call as a ridiculous interpretation.
We know the people there, and we know the. Can I speak? Can we have a civilized debate? Can you be a bit tolerant?
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Taneja. Go ahead, make your point.
And you see the question, as I said, we know the state very well. We have got, we are also doing our own surveys. And our survey results are very different. It's the same, a very credible agency that Congress seems to be very proud of, said about the UP election that BJP won't get more than 125 seats. We went now to get 326. And the other surveys we have also seen. It's not about this thing. With all due respect, people do survey, they put in efforts, we respect that. The question is that, what is actually happening on the ground? On the ground, there is no organization of the Congress party. There is no organization. I ask your viewers, can they name 5 important leaders of the Congress party in Gujarat? There are none. They have outsourced everything to caste leaders. They're saying that we are indulging in communal things and all that. Who is going temple after temple after temple? Who is comparing Rahul Gandhi's coronation with Mughal dynasty? So who is talking about that? Who is communalizing? Not only communalizing, actually taking it back to the dark ages of caste. All modern Indians, they hate this word caste. And here are the 3 leaders representing different castes being promoted by the Congress party. This is what they're going to give you. They will take you back to the Stone Age, and people know they have no narrative. They have no narrative, and therefore they have no chance.
Okay. They don't have a narrative, but Neerja Chaudhary, I'm going to take the point forward that both Sanjay Jha and Narendra Taneja made, whether they admit it or not. He makes a point about these caste leaders coming together, which is very forceful for the Congress. Mr. Narendra Taneja is obviously panning that equation. The truth of the matter is that you got a 326 in UP, not just because of a wave, but also because of the rainbow caste coalition that Mr. Amit Shah, and rightly so, that he's in politics, he has every business to, he could stitch together in UP. It was called a rainbow coalition because there were 7 odd castes that he got together, and which is how he won UP with 326. Neerja Chaudhary, the question really is, can Hardik, Alpesh and Jignesh do in Gujarat what an Amit Shah with that rainbow coalition could do in UP?
No, I think that's a tall order. They are youngsters who, they represent the rise of new political energies. And I think this we may see in other states in the months to come. The vacuum that the opposition is leaving and the Congress is leaving is not going to be vacuum. After all, politics doesn't brook a vacuum. So others will rise. Now, the astute thing that the Congress has done is to have a coalition with movement leaders, and all 3 of them have been movement leaders. Jignesh with the, the Dalits on the Dalit issue, Alpesh on the OBCs for several years now, and Hardik Patel has become the symbol of the Patidar angst in Gujarat. And that, all of them rooting for the Congress and not for the BJP is a big leg up for the Congress. There's no doubt about that. But people who are angry with the BJP, that includes farmers, that includes patidars, they tell you, we may be looking at the Congress, but not out of any love for it. So here is a situation where there is a negative vote, and the undercurrent, the theme is not even Vikas, though people are protesting about the regional disparity. South Gujarat gets 71% of the irrigation, the North and Saurashtra put together get the rest. Things are not available in the tribal areas. When tribals come to the cities, they see much more development and so on. So there's a regional disparity angle playing out. But the undercurrent that I found, and this figured in conversations, was that this time let's give them a jhatka, a phatka. So line पे आ जाएं ताकि चीजें दुरुस्त करें फिर for 2019. This I found in Rajkot town, this I found in Saurashtra village, this I found in Mehsana district. So it was almost like, you know, they've become too arrogant and they have to be brought down a peg or two, only then will they put the correctives in place.
Right.
And it is an attempt to, if they vote against the BJP, an attempt to chasten the party.
Okay. Okay, fair point. We've got a fair amount of ground to cover. Narendra Taneja, I'm coming to you, and then I'm going to go to Sanjay Jha, which is on GST, which has become an election issue. You cannot deny that. The Congress has done a fairly good job of, you know, bringing it to the core of the election narrative and the troubles faced by traders. Now, this Times Now-VMR poll seems to indicate that the voter is vertically divided on the issue of GST. They still can't make up their mind on the extent of damage that it has caused. So almost 45% split between voters, between traders specifically, on the impact of GST. So despite the slew of course correction steps that the government has taken, from cutting rates of khakra to whatnot to easing the compliance burden on small traders, yet there is a large section of community in Gujarat that is troubled by the GST in its current form.
Yes, we are very much aware of the concerns of some small traders, textile traders, and also even diamond traders in Surat and area around Surat, and we have engaged them. We are in conversation with them, and actually the big players, they have no issue on the GST. They are quite comfortable, but there is still a section of traders, especially those in and around Surat. We are in touch with them. We are talking with them, and by and large, if you send your crew today or tomorrow, you will see that they understand what the things we have explained, and at the same time we are working on it. Look, we are a party in touch with the people, different association, communities, farmers, students, young, Dalits and tribals and everyone. And we know, there are tribals have some concerns. We have taken note of that. We have already started addressing those. Small traders on GST and a few other items, we have addressed that already. And they will see the results of that over the next 2-3 months. So it's not that, you see, as I said, nobody understands Gujarat better than BJP. And I can tell you with all responsibility that just wait for the 18th of December and you will see the result. You will agree with me. We're going to win election hands down. We're going to get at least 150 seats. And this is what the people have want. There's some people maybe still unhappy with you, but at the same time, they're not ready to trust the caste leaders or the party that has no organization on the ground in the state of Gujarat.
Sanjay Jha, I'm going to ask you a little bit of an uncomfortable question. Irrespective of what Mr. Taneja is telling us, that everybody is convinced that the GST is panning out very well, there is a little bit of an unrest, and especially Gujarat is a very trader-dominated community, so I'm sure it will be an election issue. But if you actually see, it's vertically divided between people who think that interventions into GST are good or bad, which means that people who are unhappy with GST are beginning to change that. Let's leave Gujarat just for a minute and say your whole attack on the BJP has been economic mismanagement, whether it's demonetization, whether it's GST, whether it's growth plummeting, whether it's no jobs.
That's right.
Going forward, GST will perhaps, the teething troubles will be over, GST will perhaps smoothen out. The demons of demonetization will be a thing of the past. Will you lose your crucial arsenal? What will you attack this government on then?
Sure. I'll tell you one thing, Supriya. The lingering effects of demonetization and GST have to end at some point. I totally acknowledge that. The structural damage they have done to the economy is a loss in GDP. But what one has to worry about is when a country of India's mammoth size loses 1% GDP, you're talking about a loss of 1,60,000 crores of income, which means imagine the extent to which poverty gets further aggravated, to the extent that joblessness rises, and the country pays a huge price for this loss of GDP of 1%. Now, if it's 2%, it's 3 lakh crores. Now, the second point is critical. Even if you look at India today the RBI has not changed the repo rate. And the logic behind that is rising inflation. The fact that this government has completely blown the tailwind of, oil prices being so low because now the prices are going to rise. I mean, end of day, the government is going to be knocked out on fiscal deficit, already 96% exhausted. So the capability of this government to create capital assets is down. If it cuts fiscal spending, well, there is going to be no further welfare activities either. And by the way, if the fiscal deficit increases, you're going to have inflation rise. So I think we are headed for an economic I would say, fairly turbulent times. I mean, the GDP at 6.3 over 5.7% is frankly nothing but a cosmetic rise, given that it was 7.5% earlier. So unlike the BJP, you know, Supriya will go on about Hindu-Muslim politics, we are going to take them to task on jobs, on inflation, on redistribution opportunities for the poor, on how they have actually, you know, implemented Aadhaar. Why was the GST a case of learn how to walk before you run? And why did we have to create this mammoth disaster called demonetization? I think there are larger issues on economics of India that we are going to focus on.
Okay, you will, Narendra, I'm coming to you. You are not going to sort of, slow down on your attack on the economy front, but, you know, move away from economy and talk pure politics. Neerja Chaudhary, Rahul Gandhi's temple visits have found some favor. Now, again, this poll seems to suggest that with voters, a majority of them, over 50% of them, are sympathetic towards his quote-unquote temple visits, which Narendra Taneja will call soft Hindutva. But the broader question, is there a greater acknowledgement within the Congress party that you cannot win elections by doing this minority appeasement, that the days of minority appeasement are over? Is that a learning of the Congress party that they're putting to use in Gujarat and, you know, even going forward as well?
Yes, I would say yes, there is a rethinking in the Congress which is evident in its actions in Gujarat. Rahul Gandhi has not referred to 2002, nor have the Congress leaders this time. They don't want to polarize it on Hindu-Muslim lines. As far as the people are concerned, and when I spent a week in Gujarat, and I asked everywhere what they thought about Rahul Gandhi's temple visits. Most people, you know, were okay with it. They were happy with it. They were not unhappy that he was visiting temples. Whether that is going to make a difference and get more votes, we don't know. You know, the reason, another thing that one found was that people were not rubbishing Rahul Gandhi as they have done in the past. They were more willing to lend their ear to what he's having to say, listen to him. But I think that has more to do with the changing mood in Gujarat. You know, they're more willing to look at the opponent than they have been so far. But this election, I don't see as a Modi versus Rahul election at all. Congress will gain by default because there's nobody else on the other side.
Right, right. So it's not a Modi versus Rahul election, and you know, Gujarat doesn't want to be reminded or talked about Godhra. But I think it's fair to ask the Congress party that when you talk about Janeudhari Hindu or when you talk about Shiv Bhakt, is the Congress resorting to soft Hindutva as well?
Now, Supriya, I'll tell you why I disagree with that. You know, look at what Mr. Gandhi is doing. You know, every day he's asking questions of Narendra Modi on a very, very transparent tweet. All of them are based on development, social, economic indicators in the Gujarat, the fake, fictitious Gujarat model of Mr. Modi. Mr. Modi doesn't even answer them. He talks about Aurangzeb and that kind of stuff. I mean, as far as, you know, the Congress party having to, you know, kind of explain its position, you know, why we did that? We were compelled to do so because the BJP is playing the most lowest common denominator of religious politics. I mean, the Somnath temple register, I mean, the head priest clarified the situation, and here was the BJP trying to fake a registered entry. So I think when you reach this kind of pedestrian level, then I think, you know, end of day, the party had a choice. Should we ignore that? Or should we take it head on, you know, take the bull by the horns? We decided to do it. And then when we did that, the BJP says, you know what, you are playing communal politics. I think, you know, the BJP telling anybody else playing communal politics is a bit rich, especially when Mr. Taneja's famous Lal Krishna Advani and Uma Bharti and Mr. Kalyan Singh, today, the 25th anniversary of the Babri Masjid, are facing charges on criminal, shall we say, criminal charges for the demolition of the Babri Masjid. Okay. So they should, I think, stop using terms like communal. It applies to them and nobody else. Okay, Narendra Taneja, very quickly, you have to respond to the point that Sanjay Jha has raised a very valid argument. And he's saying that you've sort of made this a communal election. You boxed the Congress into a corner and made them, you know, resort to the sort of politics that they claim they don't want to play. A quick resort to that. And also, is it all happening because this is an election the BJP cannot afford to lose? I mean, you could lose Himachal, you could lose Uttar Pradesh, you could lose Uttarakhand, but you can't lose Gujarat. Because the entire cornerstone of this government is on the Gujarat model of development, the Prime Minister's leadership. It's an election you just cannot afford to lose.
No, look, allow me 30 seconds, please. You see, you talked about soft Hindutva or Congress internally they are talking soft. We don't understand what is soft Hindutva. It's probably fake Hindutva. This is nothing like a soft Hindutva. Either you are Hindutva or Hindu or you are a fake Hindu. And why do you need to suddenly start going to temple after temple? Does Mr. Rahul Gandhi go to temple? They are two very close to his house. He never visits them. And he's not going to visit them. Let me tell you,
debate.
once
No,
the
Mr.
elections are over.
Mr.
Number
Taneja,
two,
I don't want to get into
Mr.
that.
Jha talked out. Mr. Jha, just
No, Mr. Taneja, I don't want to relegate this debate to who's going to temple or not. I really think the question that Sandeep asked is a valid question, which is about the development model of Gujarat and that being the cornerstone of this government. I really think as television anchors and editors, we can't be talking religion into politics.
I'm coming to... No. Please.
We don't want to, no.
Yeah.
No. You see, when Mr. Jha talks about you didn't object.
I
When
am
I'm
not
giving you
saying
example,
that.
you have issue with
Go
that.
ahead,
Please
please make
allow
your
me to
point.
speak. I'm not going to... don't expect me to say every word as you expect. You know? And the second question is, Mr. Jha talked about Aurangzeb. He talked about, not me. He talked about, and Congress talked about Tughlaq. To accuse Prime Minister of being Tughlaq. Tughlaqi Farman. Aurangzeb, Mr. Manishankaraya, a man who's very close to the family, man who's a former cabinet minister. He said Aurangzeb, not us. Tughlaq, Congress leadership called our Prime Minister Tughlaq, not us. When we talked about it, you say, oh, don't talk about it. Please don't do it. Come on, they are the one who start everything. They are the one who basically are saying, they are the one who going temple after temple. Why are you pointing finger at us? Or why is the Congress pointing finger at us? They are the one who started it because they want to try. They're so desperate to win Gujarat. They are ready to do anything, whether
Fast,
they believe
you
it or
please.
not, they have faith or in or not. They want to
Okay.
try it and they are trying it. Fine, best of luck to them. But they have no chance to win. Let me tell you that.
All right, so they have no choice to win. As a television anchor and editor, I can tell you, I don't want to talk religion in politics. It should be kept out squarely and firmly by you and by the Congress party.
It's
But
up to
Sanjay
you.
Jha, I will quickly ask you
When
a question.
Congress
1 second,
talks
sir.
about, I
Sanjay
have to
Jha, my
answer.
question to you is direct. If the BJP
But I
can't
don't
afford to
want to-
lose Gujarat, can the Congress afford to not make a huge dent? Because this is also your last chance to prove your mettle before 2019. At a time when Rahul Gandhi is all set to take over the party reins, if you can't make a huge dent in Gujarat, then it's game over even before it began.
No, I agree with you, Supriya. I mean, the Congress party has to ensure that each and every election from here on, we don't have to be in the contest, we have to be in the contest to win it. You know, and the last time we had 5 state elections, the heartening news was that we swept Punjab and we were far ahead of the BJP in both Goa and Manipur, although the BJP used all kinds of unconstitutional tactics to form the government there. But, coming down to both Gujarat and Himachal, I think we are confident. We are putting up a great fight. I think Mr. Gandhi has led a brilliant campaign. And I think I'm glad that the Congress party hasn't stooped to, what I call as the communal mobilization politics. I'm very
into
hopeful
that
that
game.
the people
No.
of Gujarat, Supriya, I think have recognized that
no.
you do need material changes
Okay,
on the
okay.
ground.
You walked in as much into the Hindutva debate, there is no
and I'm
absolving yourself
hoping
either.
that
No,
going
Sanjay Jha.
forward-
You have problem.
Okay.
No.
Okay,
Congress
no.
can talk about when I talk about
there
it.
isn't. That's
exactly what we are
That's exactly
saying.
what we are saying.
That's exactly
That's
what we are
exactly what
telling
we are
you.
saying. That's exactly
Congress
what we
can
do,
talk
Sanjay
about
Jha.
anything.
I think both parties have
We can't
communalized
talk about
this
that. You have
election.
issue
Let's
with that.
let's not fool ourselves. Both parties have communalized the election. You could trade barbs at each other on who did it first.
Supriya
But let's
says
leave
only
that aside.
BJP.
Let's leave that.
Problem
Nirja
is
Chaudhary, I'm
BJP
going to let you have the
talks
last word, which is, is this a do or die election for the BJP? Is a lot at stake for them, as this election? Or do you think that this is an equally important election for the Congress? Because if they do a no-show in Gujarat, if they end up with the same tally as they had in 2012, then people are going to write off Rahul Gandhi.
I think I wouldn't call it a do or die, but suppose the BJP doesn't or loses the state or does just scrapes through, yeah, it is a setback to the tough leader image of the Prime Minister because he's staked his personal prestige. He's been the one campaigning. He's the only card the BJP has played in Gujarat, and he still remains popular despite the unpopularity of the BJP government. If the Congress does better, if the Congress doesn't even win the state but manages to get 80 to 85 seats, yes, it helps to establish the leadership of Rahul Gandhi, particularly now that he's taking over the presidentship of the party. So he moves from being a Congress president to a leader. That kind of, benefit it will give him. So yes, stakes are high for both.
Stakes are high for both. It's a very important battle. December 19th is when we'll know who's coming on top as far as Gujarat is concerned. It's going to be one fascinating election. Neerja Chaudhary, Sanjay Jha and Narendra Taneja, thank you so much for taking time out and joining us in this special edition of Battleground Gujarat right here on the India Development Debate.
Thank you very much for being with us. Up next is Top 10 at 10 with Tanya Bharadwaj.